Recording in progress.
Yes, guys, and welcome to today's training. So, a little bit of a morning reminder as always. If you have a healthy child, you have a roof over your head, you have money in the bank, you have more than one person that loves and cares about you, you already have enough. I'm going to say it time and time and time again because it's the morning reminder that everybody needs. We're all already wealthy. We all already have enough. Yes, it's okay to want more, but wealth is nothing more than a feeling of abundance triggered by gratitude. Tattoo it on the backs of your eyelids. Don't actually do that, it would be really painful. So, moving on. By the way, starting on Monday, it's going to be 2 to 3 parts. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do some nutrition masterclasses. I think a lot has come into mindset, and then I'm going to do a couple of training masterclasses as well. And there's not been so much coaching on nutrition and training. I'm going to do a brand new MyFitnessPal masterclass of how to use it properly. I'm going to be discussing the thermodynamic effects of food. I'm going to be discussing the psychology of food, and I'm also going to be discussing the human metabolism and things like the basal metabolic rate, so you guys can get a little bit of a deeper understanding into what you're doing with food and why you're doing it with food, rather than just blindly following the plan. Okay, because there's actually people at opposite ends of the spectrum. There's some people that are being that anal with MyFitnessPal that it's stressing them out because they're trying to get every percentage perfect and every gram, which isn't necessary. And there's some people that are being that slack with food tracking that you're just ending up frustrated because you're going to the gym and training hard 5 times, and essentially it doesn't matter how hard you're training, unless, and I don't mean this from an arrogant sense, unless you're someone like me when I was training for the marathons, what I would call an average person who trains 3 to 5 times per week for 60 minutes, you will not out-train a bad diet. And if your diet is completely off point, it will lead to frustration, it will lead to desperation, and it will lead to quitting, because essentially going to the gym for 5 times a week every week for 5 weeks and then not seeing any results because you either lied about your nutrition or it wasn't on point is like going to work for 5 to 6 weeks and then not getting paid at the end of it. Of course you're pissed off, and of course you're going to quit. So we're going to work on getting that handled. So drop me an honest question. I'm also sending out an email today as well, guys, asking you guys. I want your replies to be short and sharp. What's the number one thing that you're struggling with right now? And if I could fix one problem in your life, what would that be? It will be an individual email that goes out to each people. I want you to reply. Please keep it short and sweet to a paragraph, not chapter and verse, because I'm going to probably have 50, 60 emails. And these are going to form the next period of mindset training. So I'm actually really in touch with what you guys need, and making sure that the trainings are hitting home. I know they do anyway, and I pay attention, but I want extra information in body and mind, Stacey, in both. Just do you know what? As long as you keep it short, if you've got 5 things you're struggling with and you've got 5 things that I could help you with that would change your life and allow you to move forward, you can put 5 things. You can put as many things. Just please don't open up an email and send me 17 paragraphs on your life story, because that's not what I want, and I won't be able to help you or read all the emails. It's just short, sharp. If you could fix this one thing for me, that would make me very happy because I want you all to be happy. So, how many people have been afraid to cry in the past? Either afraid to cry on their own, or afraid to cry in front of other people, afraid to express fear, afraid to express grief, or afraid to be vulnerable or express that they're vulnerable. I did that for years, so I just couldn't do it. And there's two sides to this, because obviously Marcus is one of my mentors, and the inner fight slogan is "Show no weakness." And in sporting terms, yes, I agree. But in emotional life terms, no. So I wouldn't be willing to go to make myself vulnerable for fear of getting hurt, for fear of people leaving me. I wouldn't open up. I wouldn't have conversations until it took for Kev Bland, as I said. Actually, I'll drop Kev's training in, the training that me and Kev did. He's the guy when I talked about him having that recurring dream about Ella, his daughter, being hanging in the bathroom when he was getting up, even though it wasn't real. And we went quite deeply into things that happened in Afghanistan, which we spoke about. So I'll drop that in. But as I said, Kev is like shorter than me, smaller than me. He's also one of the hardest motherfuckers on this earth. And it was him that first said to me. In fact, Marcus's training is epic as well. I'll drop them both in. I'm also going to put about the events in that email. That's my train of thought. It was Kev that first said to me, Lee, vulnerability doesn't make you weak. It makes you courageous. And I think had what I would call a normal person said that to me, I'd be like, not too sure. My entire life is a military background. Men don't show emotion. Men don't show fear. We're born to kill. Men don't hug other men. Men don't show emotion to other men. Some of the things that my granddad said wouldn't even be repeatable now. He can repeat one for a laugh because it's funny, but he used to say, God, I mean, we used to top and tails in the army, and we used to top and tails on rugby tour. You'd never do that these days. Everyone would think you were a pair of puffs, so that was very much, you can see their mindset and how it changed of, even men showing emotion to other men and love would mean that you were gay. That was exact terminology, which was quite embarrassing. And again, it was, you were conditioned not to show fear, not to show weakness, not to show emotion. And that's gone through that's generational, that. So, if you have been a person and felt that being vulnerable, crying, saying I love you to another man or another woman or a significant other or a unicorn, kind of makes you weak and makes you soft or any of those things, it doesn't. And I'm here to tell you that. Because what happens is when we experience any of these emotions that make us feel afraid, make us feel stressed, make us feel vulnerable, and what happens is, and I think you like the best example, God rest her soul, the best example, one of the best is, if you remember years ago, some of you will, neurotic Nikki, who was on Big Brother. She was on the same one as Pete, who had Tourette's, and she became very ill and anorexic, but her tantrums were she just used to go crazy. And it's probably, that was the first human that came to my mind. Pete's seen me do this multiple times, of a person that suppresses and suppresses and suppresses and suppresses their emotions until they explode like a volcano into a completely irrational rage that never would have happened had they not been open enough to express them in the first place. So it's okay to show emotions. And moving on from Monday's training, before we come on to the 4 archetypes of people, is, we have to understand, as I said on Monday, all emotions exist. You can't be happy without sad. You can't be calm without anxious. You can't be courageous without fear. They have to exist, and we have to learn. And this is called, there's about 7 books on this that are, unfortunately, I would say at this point, more than 7 books, way above my learning level. I can drop some of them in the group if you want. Yeah, who is she? Who even is she? I actually thought she was quite fit as well. But they talk about embracing your shadow self. Okay, it's a metaphysical thing. There's some really deep books on it. I'll drop them in. They're not books that I would go into at this stage. because they would mash my little brain into the middle of next week. But give yourself permission to feel all of the other feelings. Give yourself permission to cry. Give yourself permission to be Mardy. Give yourself permission to be sad, angry, stressed, pissed off. Because if you don't, like I said last week, we're trying to deny and suppress. And it's not about controlling your emotions, it's about mastering your emotions. Being able to show no fear means you haven't mastered weakness. Being positive all the times means you haven't mastered being negative. So you're only half full, not fulfilled. So what we have to understand, and as I said, well, I always do it the wrong way around. Kieran, TMP. Like, I think I shared the story with you guys as well, but it was like a bit of a life-changing moment for me when obviously, I lost 25% of hearing in that ear and I couldn't really do anything for 2 weeks. I was in and out of hospital. And after like 3 days, I sent Kieran a voice note because he was really concerned and he asked how I was handling it. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I've done the whole anger thing. I've put a fist through a plywood door. I've cried, I've punched things, I've kicked things. I've thought really negative thoughts. But at the end of the day, I've still got 1.25 ears, which is more than most. And I don't really need that ear anyway. As long as I've got one and I can hear, that's fine. And he sent me I'm going to drop it in actually. I will find it because I said it on Monday. If I've still got the voice note, I'll drop it in because he was like, bro, do you realise how far you've just come? You experienced all those negative emotions, tears, anger, fear, aggression for 3 days max. You sat with them, you moved through them, and you now have a plan to move forward. I didn't deny and suppress them, and that's a big, big thing when you can get away. So it's okay to feel sad, vulnerable, afraid, Mardy, stressed, lonely. It's just not okay to live there. And all of those emotions are a warning light that it's time to change. They're the rumble strip. What happens if we don't hit the rumble strip? Wakes you the fuck up and gets you back in the lane. If you ignore the rumble strip and turn the music up, which is suppressing the emotions, you're going to career into the central reservation and die. Very brutal metaphor to describe that, but that's what it is. Again, you keep ignoring the empty petrol light on the dashboard, you're going to run out of petrol and not be able to go anywhere. You keep ignoring the engine management light because you just think, oh, fuck it, I'll deal with that next day, I'll suppress it for a few days. Your car's going to break down and you can't drive. So have the ability to feel and process all of the negative emotions as well as the positive ones. It's healthy to move through them. And this is called your shadow self. You must embrace your shadow self and not suppress it. We're all human. We're not good, we're not bad, we're not weak, we're not happy, we're not sad, we're not depressed, we're not anxious, we're not lonely, we're not courageous, we're not fearful. We're human. Okay? But bottling it up and denying it is completely inauthentic. Who knows why it's inauthentic? Because you're judging yourself. We talk about not being judgmental, but you're judging yourself on your own emotions. I'm not allowed to feel that way. Feeling that way is bad. Okay? Trust me, no fucker is happy and positive all the time. You will see people who you think are, and you will maybe think, oh God, I wish I could be like them. The energy draining, negative victim mood hoovers who comment on all your transformation pictures, something along the lines of, she's beautiful in both pictures, because they can't even just say, well done on those amazing results. Or they put, oh, Alicia, I wish I had your motivation and I could get results like that. Guess what? She's not motivated all the time. She worked on it. She was pulled by inspiration, not pushed by motivation, and then she didn't need it and then she got results. Oh, Stephen, I wish I was as strong as you to heal and go through what you've been through and go through what you've done in the last year and come out stronger. Well, guess what? I think he'll nod his head now. He hasn't been happy all the time. He hasn't felt strong all the time. He hasn't felt courageous all the time. Again, Jan is another great example. She's a warrior. She battled through cancer and she's done this and she's done, wow, I wish I could be like her. Do you not think she had days when she was suicidal and cried and wanted to end it all and felt depressed. Of course she did. So stop thinking that you can't feel that way because that makes you inauthentic. Barriers don't work, they will destroy you. As I said, I went through that period in, my early 20s after another in the long line of 8 million relationships that ended. Maybe it's me, not them. And I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, that's it. Mum's left, dad's left, she's left, this is fucked, that's fucked. Anyone I ever open up to and let the barriers down and become open to leaves, and I'm the one that ends up heartbroken. Then you feel reality. Have you not broken a few hearts yourself? Of course I have, thousands. Joking. But you get what I'm saying, right? Both sides. But you never think, you forget about the people that you've hurt. Just everyone's always hurt me. People always hurt me. People always hurt me loud. You judgmental fucker. Are you saying you've gone through your whole life and you've never judged her or let someone down? I hate her, she's a liar. Are you telling me you've never told a lie? We have to embrace both sides, okay? It's okay to be afraid, it's okay to be worried, it's okay to be stressed. Just don't live there. And if you're not being it, you're inauthentic. And this is what we're going to come on to, because suppressing your dark side, and I don't mean your murderous side, I mean that when we talk about embracing the shadow self, it's about light emotions and dark emotions. So a light emotion is positivity, a dark emotion is negativity. A light emotion is happiness, a dark emotion is sadness. A light emotion is courage, a dark emotion is fear. We have both sides, and we have to embrace the shadow side, which is the dark side. So pick an emotion. You can do this with yourself. It's a little challenge. So let's go with negativity and anger. As you well know, I was once the most negative, angry person on this earth. Very, very quick to complain, judge, look at how I could justify my own behaviour, justify why I took drugs, justify why I drank, justify why I punched people, and everything in between. Never my fault, never my responsibility. I hated my job, I hated my career, I hated people, I hated my staff, I hated my business partners, I hated fucking everything. Negative as F. And it's similar to when people say, I love this one. And if you say it, it is kind of true in a sense. So don't get too triggered if you're one of these people that's here. Oh, that's it. That's it. I'm coming off Facebook. I'm coming off Facebook and Instagram. It's just full of negative people. Well, one, sweetheart, it's not Ryanair. You're not in the departure lounge, and you don't need to announce it because nobody gives a fuck. Just come off Instagram, come off Facebook, come off WhatsApp, and just fuck off and go and sit under your rock on your own and blame everyone else. If that's what you want to do. But if you're even having that conversation about those other people, you're being judgmental and negative. You can't, there's just people, okay? If we're in a good emotional place, there's just people. There's not good or bad. There's not positive or negative. There's just people. And you know this. In order to live a life that you love, you need to love all people. There's not good circumstances and bad circumstances. There's just circumstances. Bad things don't happen to good people. Bad things just happen to people. Bad things just happen, full stop. Okay? So even by saying I'm coming off Facebook or WhatsApp or this because it's full of negative people, well, you're being really negative and judging other people for the way they behave. How about you have no idea what they're going through? How about maybe that post that you found negative was actually a really brave, vulnerable cry for help? Do you see what I mean? Do you see how it makes sense, right? So, we have to realise that both things exist. And it's not Facebook's fault, it's not Instagram's fault, and it's certainly not WhatsApp's fault. It's the environment and the people you are choosing to be around. My Facebook and my Instagram is two of the most motivational, inspired places in the world. And if I see something that triggers me that I don't like, I go, click unfollow. They don't even know I've unfriended them, I've just unfollowed them. Instagram, mute stories. It's not the people or the thing, it's your thoughts about them. So, it's normal to be negative sometimes. And I would go as far as to say, I am every day still at some point. Even though I'm a motivational mindset, positive guru warrior who can handle anything. Who secretly thinks he's a unicorn. So, why am I still negative sometimes? Because it's fucking human. That's why. Ever been depressed? Ever been egotistical? Ever told lies? Ever been nasty? Ever been arrogant? Ever been reactive? Ever overreactive? Reacted? Ever been a knob? Ever been rude? I have, all of them, loads. And if any of you genuinely say you don't think you've done at least 3 of those, I think the one thing you probably need to get handled is that you can't stop telling lies. Because we all have. You cannot be human. You cannot be authentic without all actions. And what did we say on Monday? What's the key to a happy life? It's not living a happy life, it's being authentic. So ask yourself the right internal questions to avoid judgment. Instead of I'm coming off Facebook because it's negative, full of negative people, why do I feel the need to come off Facebook because I'm finding these people negative? What is it they're doing? Because the thing that they're doing is the thing that's within you that you haven't yet handled, that you triggering you. Otherwise it wouldn't trigger you. Like people post negative things, actually it doesn't trigger me because I'm no longer living there. If I was in a bit of a negative place, it probably would trigger me. Okay, you know, like I said on Monday as well about the murderer. Every single person's got a murder within them. If there's 3 people in a room, 2 guns, one of them's your child, one of them's the person, the gun's being pointed at the child heads, you've got your gun, you would murder that person. So even in the most absurd levels, there's a murderer within us. Everything is within every single one of us. So we need to handle all of them. I know that's an extreme example, but you know, we experience these every day, and the more you deny them and suppress them and try to say you're not the person that you are, rather than just going, actually, I'm feeling this way, how can I handle this internally, the more inauthentic you'll become, because it's the mask that's going on to cover up the securities. You're in denial about the dark side, and without the dark side, the light side can't exist. Okay, and to become whole, to become whole, to become fulfilled, to become the complete you, we need to be able to acknowledge, appreciate, and move through all emotions, including the dark side. So give yourself permission to feel them and don't beat yourself up when you do. Because if you think, right, if you think you need to be happy, positive, driven, focused, clear, motivated all the time, and if you're not good enough, and I tell each of you every day that you are good enough, it's no wonder you get so frustrated all the time. I was on a great podcast on Sunday with a guy called Rob, and it was business owners and entrepreneurs, and he said something that was hilarious, and someone answered it correctly. He says, what's the longest amount of time that a business owner tends to go without facing some form of challenge in their business? And the first person commented was 6 hours. And everyone agreed that if you look deeply, that's right. So if you're chasing progress in your life, if you're chasing growth, if you're chasing contribution, you're probably never going to go a day without facing challenge, without facing fear, without facing negative emotions. Because if not, you're not risking anything. And if you're not risking anything, you're risking everything. People that go through their life not risking anything get absolutely fucking nowhere. A one-way path to sweet FA. It guarantees unhappiness, frustration, and resentment if we're just trying to be happy, safe, comfortable, positive all the time. And if we're not good enough. And also, if everyone else in the world isn't exactly like us and doesn't match our pictures of the world, then we'll judge them for being negative. Side note, the whole Facebook thing before anyone gets that confused. If your reason for coming off Facebook or Instagram and not wanting to be on it, I'm not attacking you. If it's because it distracts you and you end up doom scrolling and spectating other people's lives and just wasting hours on it, because let's remember transformation is not a spectator sport, then I agree with you. But if your sole reason is that you think it's negative, you need to look more closely, because that's your thoughts and your peer group, not Facebook. So, to be fulfilled, to be glass full, to be complete, to be the full circle that can find the other full circle and live happily after, rather than being the C looking to the D to complete the circle because you feel you need someone else to be happy. We have to be able to embrace them all. You must embrace and love all of yourself. Your good side, your bad side, your dark side, your light side, your happy side, your positive side. And stop beating yourself up when you're not 100%. The level to which some of you still really give yourself such a fucking hard time because you only did 5-6 sessions, not 7, or because you had one bad day on your diet, or because you had 2 gin and tonics when you said you wouldn't. Okay? You have to love all of your emotions. You have to be your own best friend. You have to be your own best cheerleader. In the little bra top and the skimpy skirt, no, and cheerleaders, sorry. Anyway, so how do we do this? How do we get okay with this? How do we, not how do we get okay with wearing skimpy bra tops and little cheerleader outfits? How do we get okay with becoming our own cheerleader, becoming our own best friend? Practice. And the next time you're experiencing these emotions, I want you to think one of 2 things. Either, what would Lee say to me if I told him how I was feeling? Or what would I say to my best friend if they told me how I was feeling? Would you say, oh, just pull yourself together, you need to be positive all the time. Stop fucking up, you're a loser. Why do you keep quitting? You're not good enough. Oh God, you've done it again. You're never going to fucking get results. Of course you wouldn't. You'd say the opposite. So we're back at that point of talking to yourself like your own best friend. What you say about yourself to yourself is more important than what anyone else in the world will ever say, because you're inside your own brain every second you're awake. And if you keep suppressing and denying the dark side and trying to be happy and positive all the time, you will never feel like you are good enough. So love all emotions. Be your own best friend, accept the light, accept the dark. Don't suppress, don't deny, don't judge, just embrace. And that is the key to living an unbreakable life. Stop thinking there's good emotions and bad emotions, there's just emotions. And I'm going to leave you guys with an incredible quote that I absolutely love. And I think it should stay with you. You've all seen memes that say a similar thing to this, but I've wrote it down slightly different. So what I wrote down is there aren't good or bad events. There aren't good or bad emotions. There aren't good or bad people. Emotions are people and people are emotions. And a master doesn't avoid the storm. He doesn't avoid the dark side. He learns to dance in the dark side, to embrace the challenge and understand that the obstacle, the challenge, is the way. And that the only way we can move to the light side is by embracing and being okay with the dark side. Because the master loves and learns from everything in his quest for fulfillment. He doesn't love and learn just the good things and just the positives. Guys, I love you all. Have an absolutely unbreakable day. I appreciate you.